Hello, girls. Come on in here. Today, we are talking about sugar. So if you're somebody that has a sweet tooth like me, and you are dealing with cravings that then kind of turn into binges, can't have one piece of cake, you sit down and have three, or that, and then that binge kind of tends to go into more of a long-term, like, back on sugar. I did so great. Now I'm back on, yeah. This whole 30 minutes is for you because I'm giving you 8 ways, 8 hacks to stop the cravings, get your energy back to where you feel good again so that you can get rid of your belly fat and get on with getting healthy. That is what today is about. So what I want you to do when you jump on, I'm going to list some symptoms. You tell me what you identify with. Hey, Sandy. This is what I hear a lot of. And this is the way I feel a lot myself when I eat too much sugar. Are you ready? So how about this one? I just have these headaches. I don't know what in the world, right? Headache. Or this one is mine. Like, I don't know what it is. I just don't feel good. I just feel kind of weird. Or, how about this one? I can't think straight. I'm asking people to repeat things. I keep forgetting my keys. Something is not, maybe it's my hormones. Brain fog. I heard this one yesterday from a client who's learning how her body reacts to sugar. And hers was, I am so bloated. And it ain't gluten, right? So GI symptoms. How about this one? Very, very common, and we blame the wrong thing. It's this. Hey, Kelly. It's very common to say, I eat and I'm fine, and then boom, all of a sudden I am starving. I don't know what's going on. So any of those symptoms that you live or replay that you feel like, yep, that's me, put them down there. We're all in this together. The other things that can happen is getting really irritable. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm grouchy a lot. That's another sign of sugar issues. And then the main one that you're probably super aware of, even more than your mood and more of the brain fog, is that belly fat is growing in particular. So when you combine, your estrogen issues at this season of your life with a diet that's full of processed food and sugar, your belly in particular will get bigger. It's the end of it. So if these ring a bell, drop your symptom or 5 in the chat so we all kind of feel like we're in this together. And what I want to do first is this. I want to teach you what happens when you eat sugar so that you know what to do when you have a craving and how to stop them altogether. So here we go. I'll use myself. I make these amazing dark chocolate brownies. If I make them, I'm in trouble. So I don't make them very often. I sit down, you sit down, whatever it is, grab a donut, grab a brownie. We're eating that with our coffee. We're dumping about 30 to 60 grams of sugar into our system. Fast burning, refined sugar. Boom. What happens? The first thing that happens is your blood sugar spikes. Insulin then deploys, incoming, and into the muscle cells, into your fat cells goes all of this sugar. Some of it is burned for fast energy, especially if you eat a brownie and go for a walk, but most of it is stored in all the places in your body, all the systems in your body that need glucose for fuel. That's what insulin's job is. So you eat the brownie, your blood sugar spikes because it's all that sugar is being metabolized. Your insulin deploys. Boom. Guess what? That same blood sugar is completely crashed because now it's where it belongs. It's in the cells, right? What do you feel immediately? Like within 30 minutes, I experience it faster than 30 minutes, but listen to me, your first symptom of this process happening is typically you get a headache and you get a little brain fog, and listen to me, no energy. You're like, I don't feel like doing anything. Okay? So that's the first thing. That's why we're talking about energy boosting today. And I'm going to teach you how. Along in that 30-minute to 2-hour window with irritability is irritability, and you're starving, and you get the shakes. So all of these immediate symptoms or quick symptoms are, lead to the second. Here we go. The second thing that happens within 1 to 2 hours is once it spikes and drops, you get your headache, you get your brain fog, you're kind of achy, right? You're a little irritable, you're starving. Guess what happens? Your hypothalamus hollers, she needs more energy. And guess what? You get a craving. So listen, that's the first point. You're not imagining this. This is real neurotransmitter, brain chemical science that you are dealing with when it happens. So blood sugar spikes, blood sugar crashes, your brain screams, there's no energy for life. And guess what you do? I kind of want a sip of Dr. Pepper, or I want another brownie. I only had 3, whatever it is. And your body will not crave broccoli. Your body is going to crave quick energy for that dopamine hit. Isn't that amazing science? So that is the anatomy of a craving. I love it, science nerd. So I'm going to stop here for questions and comments. Anybody? I just have Sandy and Kelly with me right now. Let's roll. There's Sandy. Hi. Questions, just hit me. You know how it is. Sandy says fatigue after eating a lot of sugar, belly, fat. Yep. We're all in this together. We're all of us. If you're eating a lot of sugar, all of those symptoms are probably something you've experienced for sure. So now we've talked about the first symptom is the crash, where you just kind of don't feel good and you get irritable, you get headaches, you're starving. The second thing that happens is you immediately have a craving. I just want one more of whatever I just had, right? The third thing that happens, listen to this, is inflammation. It takes around 2 to 4 hours, but then what your body does is it has a full-on inflammatory response. So you're going to feel bloated, and you might get flushed. You might get even worse headache. You might start getting achy. That's mine. I get achy. I'm remembering that there was always candy in the nurse's station, and anytime I gave in and ate it, my sweet little 20-something-year-old nurses that worked with me, that called me mama, would laugh at me because the first thing I would do is my feet started hurting and I would have to prop them up on the counter at the nurse's station. They're like, oh, mama's feet hurt. That was an inflammatory response to sugar. And sometimes it can be immediate for me. So that's the third thing. And listen, when you are living a lifestyle where sugar is just part of what you do, you're drinking full sugar sodas on the regular, you have sweet baked goods all the time laying around the house and you're eating those, you are now probably into chronic inflammation. And that's what a lot of women that have, now listen, you talk to your clinical team about this, but I know that a lot of women that have diagnoses like fibromyalgia or just they can't figure out what is going on, very rarely will a doctor say, tell me about your nutrition. And usually, sometimes those body aches can be directly related to inflammation, related to what you are eating and not eating. So let's keep going. That's what happens when you eat sugar. The craving is real. It's because your body dumps. It needs more energy. You crave. Okay. So now, second thing I want to do is talk to you about what is sugar. Let's take let's not demonize it completely. We'd all be dead without glucose. That's the truth. That's the reason people pass out when they don't eat enough, is your brain will turn off without glucose. So it's not that sugar is bad. Sugar is essential for life. Now, not all sugars are created equal. Your body does not ever need refined sugar. You could live the rest of your life and not eat a brownie or a donut and drink a soda and be perfectly healthier for sure. So it's not refined sugar. It's all of the different kinds of sugar in food. So let me teach you something. I've got some props. So what exactly is sugar? When we think, first of all, immediately we go to candies. Oh, this is, I love this stuff, right? This is what I eat every day. And let's imagine this not to be like my 3-gram nut bar, but like a Snickers or something super sugary. This is what we think of when we think of sugar. But do you know that sugar is also, these are sugars. You ready? Look here. Sugar. No, they're not. They're carbs. Carbs are sugar. These are metabolized the same way as this. This is faster, your candy, than this. This burns more quickly. This burns a little bit more slowly. Even more slowly than this are your fruits and vegetables. Sugar. It's all sugar. It just is rated in different ways. Like we have what we call the glycemic index. You've probably heard of that. That is all about the rate at which the sugar burns. What does that mean for you? Who cares? What it means for you is that when you eat your candy, boom, it goes up, right? When instead you eat a banana, it kind of gradually goes up. Even better, when you eat vegetables like carrots and tomatoes and green beans that are higher in carbs, it really just very slowly burns, which means there's no spikes, there's no dumps, and guess what? There's no cravings, right? So we want to look for foods that are slow burning, not fast burning like your refined carbs and your processed foods, right? So I hope that makes sense. Questions on that? Anybody? Donuts make me sick. Yes. Food pushers will say, here, have another donut. It just depends on what your thing is too, girl. Like if it's chocolate, if it's, we all have the thing that we love that we know if we start eating this, it's going to be hard to stop, right? So really look hard at what your triggers are. That's a good point. But make sure that you understand that your body has to have sugar. It just doesn't need crap. It doesn't need the refined sugar. It needs the slow burning versus fast burning sugars. So, next, let's get down to business. How do you stop the cravings, stop the crazy cycle, and get your energy back? This is how you do it. The first thing, get your pen and pencil if you want. The first thing I want you to do is what I call the frequent fuel method. I just put a name on that in the last couple of days because I keep talking about it and didn't have a way to explain it. I put it in email. If you're on my email list, you got the email yesterday or day before about what this is. The frequent fuel method is simply eating every 3 to 3.5 hours with a protein and a complex carb. What's complex carb? Fruits and vegetables. And some whole grains, but they're a little less complex than fruits and vegetables. So what I want you to do is and it's the way I eat every single day. It's the way my Simple Steps clients eat in order to lose weight is they keep constant fuel coming, protein and a carb, over and over all day long. And what that does, girl, and you've heard me teach this before, is it just keeps your blood sugar right here. That's what we want. Constant energy. Healthy energy, no body aches, no brain fog, no fatigue. All of this business goes away when every 3.5 hours you're doing a frequent fuel. Just keep it coming. Your body will also let go of weight that way. When my girls in my programs plateau, one of the first things I look for is whether they're eating regularly. And they usually are not in the beginning. They haven't learned to keep things fueled. Number 2, protein at breakfast. Think about this. If you're eating a donut for breakfast or something you baked yesterday and you just throw it in your mouth and go to work, whatever it is, if you're eating a refined sugar type of breakfast, you are starting the cycle of craving and brain fog and body aches and not feeling good first thing in the morning. Not good. You're starting an inflammatory response first thing in the morning. Not good. So what I want you to do is have a savory, protein-rich first meal. That will set the tone for your blood sugar and for your day and for your habits all day long. Number 3, if you have had a sweet treat, you're helping yourself if you go move right after. Now, let's be honest, not many of us have coffee and a brownie and go for a run. But if you can, that's the best thing. That's why first of all, it helps facilitate that fast fuel into the muscle cells because the muscles are working and requesting that fast fuel. But it helps with slows digestion in general when you're moving. So what I want you to do, especially on holidays, like if you have just eaten a big Thanksgiving meal, go for a walk right after. It helps. So move right after you've eaten some sugar and you regret it. Go for a walk, go for a run, do something physical. Number 4, eat sugar as a dessert. What does that mean? It means do not eat sugar on an empty stomach. What they have shown is that the dopamine hit is so much harder and more intense when you're dumping sugar into an empty tummy. So if you have a little bit of chocolate after your dessert, after your whole meal, it's going to be metabolized much more slowly, and the dopamine hit from your brain for an energy request is going to be a lot less. So that's number 4. Eat sugar on top of other food as a dessert. Hack number 5. I'm going quick because I don't want to be on here for 45 minutes. For you. Number 5 is this, the ingredient list. When you look at your packaging, what I want you to look for, I'm grabbing my ingredient list, is look at the back, and on the back, these are listed, you probably already know this, but in order of amount in the package. So if sugar in any form is in the top 5, it's too sugary to have every single day of your life, for sure. What do I mean by sugar in any form? Let's talk about that. Marketers are genius because they will make you believe that you're not eating sugar if you call it fruit juice concentrate, or if you call it dextrose, or if you call it any kind of sucralose. Those are honey even. You can do, maple syrup. It's all sugar. All of it is sugar, and some of it is just processed a little bit more slowly than others. But really, when you get into the category of True Blue sweeteners, they're all processed pretty darn fast, and they all need to be lower on the ingredient list. Questions, anybody? Ina says, hi. Hi, Ina, welcome. Sandy, bananas unripe, less sugar. Yeah. That's why we use super ripe bananas for like baking and banana bread, is because they're chock full of sugar concentrate. So anybody else have a question? Grab a drink. Grab a drink, girls. I hope you're hydrated. Moving on. So we have frequent fuelings, protein in the morning, move right after you've had a sugar if you can. Eat sugar not on an empty stomach, like eat it at the end of a meal if you're going to have it. Ingredient list, it needs to be low, 5 or below on the ingredient list. The other phrase that I heard that I loved from a sugar scientist is clothe your carbs. So what that means is if you're going to have a carby rich meal, whether it's full on sugar, like candy bars or pastas, if you're going to have a carby meal, pair it with protein, fiber, or fat. It just helps to slow down the release of that sugar into the bloodstream. So if normally it would be a huge spike because of how fast it burns, if you add a protein, it can kind of mold that spike into something a little bit more slow in the way of metabolism and release. So clothe your carbs. Here's one I did not know. And I was like, that is such a gimmick. And then I looked it up and it's not a gimmick. Are you ready? Write this down. 1 tablespoon of vinegar, any kind of vinegar. What you're looking for really is acetic acid, which is what's in vinegar. 1 tablespoon of that in a large glass of water. I would say 8 ounces or more for sure. before you know you're going to have a carby sweet meal or treat. And what they've proven, it's fascinating science, is what they've proven is that it slows the metabolism of sugar, and it does great things for your digestion, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to start doing that myself too. Now, what I want to tell you is that it has to be in liquid form. The capsules do not work for this. Excuse me. So who knew that? Talk to me. Did you know that about vinegar, anybody? Hey, Andrea. So I always thought that the vinegar stuff was stupid because I'm so like hyper alert to gimmicks. But honestly, this is one of the true blue science-backed things. So number 7 is vinegar. 1 tablespoon, a large glass of water before you're going to have carbs or sugar. The final one that I want to tell you is this. I want you, listen, the way that I've coached you and the way that I coach my private clients is never are we cutting things out completely. The reason that you binge is because you have restricted too much. It's the end of it. So I'm never going to teach you cut out sugar completely. Now, this is what I want to say though, and it's a little bit of a stern talking to, so listen to me. Because I've had a lot of people reaching out to me lately, like this week, like almost 2 hands worth of people saying, I just got diagnosed with diabetes. And this is what or I'm pre-diabetic and I'm freaking out. So this is what I want to tell you. If you have a lifestyle, girl, where full sugar sodas are normal, where you're baking all of the time, where you keep things around the house that are just little dishes of candy corn or whatever it is. If sugar is a regular, normal go-to for you, you're not going to feel good. And it does lead to health issues. So what I want to tell you then, let's flip it around on the positive. Make dessert, make sugar special. What do I mean by that? It's fall. You want to bake your grandma's, whatever, gingerbread. Make that an experience because that's what it is. You have memories associated with sweet things. Your home is going to smell good. Do I want you to sit down with your coffee and enjoy a big old hunk of gingerbread? Absolutely. You better. But you cannot do that every day or eat on that gingerbread for the next week and a half and feel good and be healthy. You just can't. So this is what I want you to do is if you are somebody who is in that little habit, then you might have to go on a fast. Now, this is what I mean by that is just cut out sugar for 48 to 72 hours, and you literally are going to have a little bit of withdrawal. But make sure that you're doing the frequent fuel method where you're having a carb and a protein, a healthy carb, by the way, that's a complex carb, like a fruit or a whole grain. Make sure that you're fueling yourself properly so that you're not having cravings. Get all the crap out of your house. And then what will happen is it propagates itself because you're going to feel better. You're going to be thinking more clearly. You're not going to have your headache that you usually get. You're going to have more energy. And then when you feel like you can handle it, you can reintroduce sugar, but as a special thing, not as a normal happenstance. So tell me, does that make sense to you? Anybody have questions? Andrea says, hi. Lemon juice I don't know about lemon juice versus vinegar. I think it's vinegar. Acetic acid. I don't know what acid is in lemon juice. Sandy says small candy helps me. Yeah. So that's the thing is I always tell you I have chocolate every day, and I do. After lunch, I get a pinch of chocolate chips every day, or I have my 6 grams of sugar. I have one of these. It's 6 grams of sugar every day with my coffee, but it tends to be after a meal and super low sugar. Do you know what I mean? So again, I'm checking on my ingredient list to see how many grams of sugar are actually in what I'm consuming, or I'm making sure that the portion is teeny tiny. So I like candy, like Sandy says, it's just tiny bit of candy. But if you're hooked full on sugar, you don't get to do that. And I can help you. Reach out to me. I'm absolutely adore doing this. But if you're somebody who's full on and immersed in sugar, I want you to go cold turkey for 48 hours to 72 hours. And I can help you do that if you need it. And then reintroduce it in smaller portions and in the right places during your day. Sandy says, I'm purging my work drawer. There was a lot of fun when I asked you, okay, what's the craziest thing you've done to get a sugar fix? And honestly, what I shared is that nurses will eat the oldest open bag of candy in the nurse's station at 3:00 in the morning. You better believe it. I don't care. Give me a hit of serotonin. Give me a hit of energy. See, it truly is a craving. So yeah, clean out your desk drawer, clean out your, you don't need all that stuff. You're going to feel better when you don't have it. So girls, listen, that is sugar in a nutshell. This is something that is super easy to start executing right away. You can grab a protein and a complex carb a couple times a day. You can do these things. And like I said, you're just going to feel so much better that you'll want to keep doing it for sure. Somebody said, would love to get recommendations for bars with less sugar. I was going to do that. So maybe that's coming down the pike. And this is what I want to tell you is, I have an email list and I'm starting to give exclusive content over there because it's just too much to give it here. So if I do not already have your email, send it to me. You can drop it in the comments here, or you can DM me with that if you're more private. And what I'm going to do, like today, for instance, I will email you the 8 hacks. You'll get them right away. I'm going to email recipes and what you can do to swap out artificial sugars. There's all kinds of extras that I'm sending to email just because social media platforms are just not equipped for this much information, and you might not get it. They might not show you what I post. So give me your email for all the extra stuff. It's fun. I've gotten lots of great feedback. The last thing that I forgot to tell you is this. Artificial sweeteners are not your substitute. That's not what I want you to do. Now, I'm going to send an email out about how to use artificial sweeteners in baked goods. There is a way to do that properly. But if your whole solution, what is going on with my voice? If your whole solution is, I'll just buy sugar-free chocolate. No. Number one, you're looking at a bellyache. And number two, if you're buying products like protein bars and protein shakes, for instance, that are loaded with xylitol and sucralose and all of this stuff, they've shown that it doesn't wreck your gut biome as much as we initially thought. But let me tell you what it does do. They give you so much more of a powerful dopamine hit than regular sugar that then it's no fair. The craving is worse. Isn't that so evil? That's what the FDA and whoever creates these chemicals has done to us. Is science has proven now that when you eat sucralose versus cane sugar, that your brain lights up and then wants more and faster. So don't go to artificial sweeteners for your hit. Don't do that. I want you to get off of sugar, reintroduce it in the right ways, the 8 hacks that I just gave you. And then, and when you reintroduce it, you won't be getting spikes and whatever because you'll have protein on board and it won't be as much, etc. So we just need to learn to employ sugar in the right way, and going artificial sugar route is not the right way. Don't do that. So anybody else? I love this. This was so fun for me. This is one of my funnest ones that I've researched and given to you. So I'll keep sending emails about it. Next week, I might do a second one about what stabilizing your blood sugar does to weight loss and belly fat in particular. So if you have any comments or suggestions, let me know. Give me your email and I'll hit you up with some extra stuff. And I will see you next time. Love you, girls.